Well, he's taking a drink of water. I'm sure he might have had something a tad stronger the other night. Sammy Curtis, mate, congratulations, mate. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, mate. You and all the girls worked so hard. That photo at the back there is what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty special, especially with parts of the tournament. I thought we kind of might be fading, and it was a little bit up and down in parts. But I think lessons learned throughout, the 4 or 5 games we got to play in the round just were really key coming into those semi-finals and finals. So really proud of the girls. It's quite amazing, and we've all been on a bit of a high for the last sort of 24, 48 hours.
Exactly. And look, last year, as you know, we last year spoke about it, we came out of the blocks. Elise Villani went nuts. Congratulations on Elise getting the most runs, of course. Well done to her. But the thing was, it doesn't matter. Like I said, to Elise, you drive for the show and you putt for dough. And it wasn't a consistent effort throughout, but it consisted for one game, the one that mattered.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And, we spoke about this pre-tournament, JD, is that T20 is a really fickle game. And even though you can be consistent, it's the opposition might not be consistent, and they can have great days and terrible days as well. And so you kind of learn from that. And I think that's the really good thing about Elise's captaincy, is that she was kind of teaching us, you've got to kind of flatline your emotions, because you will have those days, or the opposition have those days. And then, obviously you celebrate the wins, but it's a lot easier to factor in, your performance within those emotions if you're trying to keep things under a bit of a lid.
Correct. Now, this is a grand final. What was the mantra beforehand? Because none of these girls have played in a final before. I'm sure Lisa and Laura may have, but most of the girls wouldn't have been in that. Did you say just enjoy the moment because you may not get it again? What was the chat?
That's exactly what we said. You've just got to go out and enjoy it, and you've got to play like the reason why you've got here. Yeah. So, there was enough confidence from the senior players to go, well, we've got here by executing, A, B, and C. So why would we change anything now? And I think the cool thing was we did tweak slightly the last 3 games, because we got to a point against Uni on Thursday where it was must win. So then effectively everything became must win. So just to keep the girls on their toes, Skip and I sort of discussed just a little change each game. And the biggest one came by putting her back to the top of the order, because we'd sort of done a job for Cricket Tasmania by batting her in the middle order. So initially she was meant to bat 4 because, potentially she's batting in the middle order for them this summer. And then when Nicola wasn't available, we bumped her to 3. And then I said, I think we've done our job for Taz now, and let's get you back up to the top. We had so much success last year, and look what happened, 91 in the first game and 92 in the second game. Yeah. And although, it wasn't bulk runs in the final, it was really important runs, that 27 that she got, because you just need a solid start. So, yeah, just enough tweaks to keep the girls on their toes, and it works magnificently.
Did that game against University harden the girls because it was cutthroat? This is what you've got to do to progress, and this is it's not a case you walked into the finals, you're 1 or 2, or you're minor premiers if there's such a thing like that. But this one here was a case of you had to fight, and once you fought to get there, you weren't going to let it go. You were going to take that experience from uni and take it right to the death.
Yeah, and the girls were actually a little bit more dogged and defiant than what I thought initially they might have been. And there's no one more so than Clodagh. I mean, you look at her performance in that final, and my goodness, you go to war with Clodagh. She's in it for the team, and she wants to do well. And, the last over, she's diving and taking skin off her arms. And, it was just such a brilliant performance from some of our local players as well. And Clodagh was such a leader in that space. And, we go back into regular season where she is our captain, and I'm sure everyone's going to follow her because of performances like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got belief now. Look, there's so much potential here, because it's like owning a racehorse. Once you win that first race, or even if you're playing footy, if you score that first try, the next try comes. It's just got to get that first taste of blood, if you will, Sammy. And I think with the girls, with that belief in against a very good opposition, University, Western Suburbs, Valleys. I mean, this is not these girls are now a powerhouse of Premier grade cricket this summer.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where potentially before we've been taken a little more lightly. And of course, you know, when you've got Elise Villani and Laura Harris and Hayley Silver-Holmes, Zoe Cook, etc. in your team, you know, you're going to be semi-intimidating. But now, like you say, the belief when we go into the local games, there's going to be a bit more there. And just the fact that the other clubs are going to be slightly wary, because at the end of the day, we needed 18 from 18, and it had nothing to do with the interstate players. You know, they've done a great job to get us there. But Clodagh and Eloise Shabe saw us home, and that was the most important 18 runs that, you know, the clubs had in the last, definitely the last 12 months since I've been involved, but it's probably a period of potentially decades that was 18 very important balls, 18 very important runs, and that was done by local girls.
All right. 18, let's go that far back. I was going to say the last day, but what was Sammy Curtis doing, mate? Do you stay out of it? Do you stay behind and you just sweat bullets, or are you chatting to the girls? How do you not overplay your hand, and how much of it do you let the girls try and absorb and make their own? Tell me what happened inside that skull of yours, mate.
Genuine pest, mate, I think is how Elise Villani would describe me. You know, I'm in the background, I'm like, girls, we can win this in singles, and Elise just kept banishing me, so I had to keep walking away. But I'm also superstitious, so I didn't want to leave the spot that I was standing in, which is stupid because it makes no difference. But I'm trying to give a little bit of, like, you know, if you're smart, we do it in singles for the girls that are waiting to bat. But also, you know, you're hoping that they know that. But in general, a terrible watcher of cricket, and that's because I'm invested. Like, I'm emotionally invested. I want to see my girls do well. I love seeing them develop and grow and perform. And so, like, I was riding the wave with them, like, you know, as much as they would have been, possibly even more, because I couldn't play a part in the outcome of the game. So I'm a terrible watcher, and the girls know that. And, you know, like, I'm always trying to look for where we can get better or what we can do better. So I'm semi-critical, but not obviously vocally. But, you know, like, there's a standard that I want us to get to. And you know, for certain parts of this tournament, we were exceeding that standard. It was just awesome to watch. But, yeah, I'm very emotionally invested, to the point where, you know, there might have been a tear at the end of the game. I might have been hiding in the bathroom for a little bit when the girls were out on the field celebrating, but just so proud.
Yeah. The last over, obviously a lot of pressure, but you're spot on. If you're in a foxhole, or if you want somebody to carry nitroglycerin somewhere, Clodagh Rye, I spoke to her last week, and I tell you what, steely-eyed, I would not play poker against that woman, and I would not play a game of chicken either. I think I would lose on both counts. It's just fearless, and she is a veteran now, Sammy, isn't she? At such a young age.
Such a young age, and a veteran and good experience. And, you know, there's a bit more exposure into some of the Queensland cricket programs, which is very well deserved. But yeah, you know, like I said before, just the will and putting the team first, and the real leadership that she displayed by getting us home there. There was, when you saw Clodagh walk out to the crease, there's no way we were losing that game. Like, she was just so determined as soon as she picked the bat up and started striding out there. And I had people, you know, that were watching the stream say to me yesterday, like, that little number 4, when she was on her way to the crease, you knew she meant business, and she sure did. Like, she didn't even second guess herself. She was like, I'm going out there and I'm going to do the job. And good on Eloise too, because she had waited until the semi-final to get an opportunity to get out on the field with the girls, you know. And that's, as a coach, I said this last year when you were speaking to me, I find it really challenging around selection, because obviously you care for everyone and you want to put everyone in the team, but you can't. There's only 11 positions that you can fill. And poor old Elo, she had played, you know, winter cricket with the men and the boys to strengthen her game, and she had done so well on that as well. And I just couldn't get her in the team until Dell had her injury, and then we popped Elo in, and look at that, she's there for the winning runs, and very well deserved. And, you know, that single she took to get Clodagh on strike, if that hits, it's a little bit different, but fortune favours the brave, right?
Yep. Well, exactly right. Favour the brave. No, so it's just those little things we've been receiving end for too long. But look, a quick thing on the whole. Let's go back in time. Let's go to the Kieran Metcalfs, the Harsha De Silvas, Nathan Reed, and I know you were there, but you've inherited a nucleus of girls that have been building to this day over the last 5 or 6 years. And I actually, Matt has sent me a photo of the first female team that we had 9 years ago, and they're just a bunch of little kids in white, only white clothes and that sort of stuff like that. It's just sort of proud to know they've come from that to this. And Sammy, you took all of what has happened over the last few years and then brought your passion and skill to it to create this green and gold machine.
Yeah, and it was really nice to hear that Kiara had called Mappers, and they'd had some emotional minutes on the phone together, which that's just really, really nice to hear. And obviously coaching against Harsha, as he's over with Valleys now, but I still think there's probably a little soft spot for the green machine and Harsha's heart. And the other coaches in the competition were very humble and really supportive of us winning the competition too, because it's important for cricket as a whole and the premier cricket scene in Queensland that there's a bit of variety around the winners of competitions. So you've got to respect what's come before you. That's a big part of the game. That's why it's so traditional, and I love it for that. So the people that did plenty of work before me, and this is why I've said to a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, congratulations, Sammy," and I'm actually it's about congratulating our committee, congratulating Mappers on like. Speaking of doggedness and defiance, that bloke has just worked so hard to make things happen, and this is a great reward for him. So it's just nice for everyone who's worn green, over the years to see some success for the club, because potentially it's been a little bit lean in the last few decades. So really proud and really happy I can contribute to that in some way.
Yeah, definitely. And look, I call Mappers an armadillo. He's got this shell on his back. He's stooped over, but he keeps going. They keep throwing rocks at him. He just seems to get to the other end and create the whole committee, Stoney and everybody over the years as well. Look, Sammy, the job's not done, and I'm going to be mean here and say job's not done. You still got a summer to prove that you can do the longer form as well. And with what you've got behind you, I know Haley, Laura, and Elise won't be there, but they will be in the way they play.
Well, hopefully we get Laura for a few games at least. And I mean, we probably haven't touched on that, but her ball striking in the grand final was just unbelievable.
That bat speed is not the bat speed of a 35-year-old. If she was that old, but what I mean, bat speed was incredible.
The full toss knee height that Laura gets, like you do not. I was saying to everyone, I was like, I wouldn't want to field it backwards square. Like, that's nearly killing you. She was hitting the ball so hard. She hit some out of Ellen Borderfield precinct down into the car park. Like, unbelievable ball striking. And, just to have her on board, she's super calm. She's pretty funny too. And that just, it's great enjoyment to be around people like that. So it was just super impressive. And, the team as a whole performed like, our first game against Gold Coast, we pretty much played a perfect game of cricket apart from one drop catch. And then that's why it started to worry me that we went a bit up and down. But then the last couple of games too, we pulled it out of the bag. And across the board, Grace Collins at the top of the order, brilliant. Eve Molly behind the stumps, just outstanding. One of the umpires said, "Oh, where did you get your keeper from?" Expecting it to be Victoria or Tasmania, and I said, "Oh, Belinda, mate. She's a local." So, Amreen, like I've issued Amreen some challenges of late, and she was dynamic in the field. Her arm was flat and hard. She bowled beautifully. Like it was just so good to see. And we had so many of those local girls who last year, like Elise was 540 runs or something ridiculous. And we didn't have too much to contribute. But up until the fourth game, Grace Collins was our top run scorer and super reliable. So, just really proud of all the local girls. And I've probably gone off topic here, but, and it wasn't just the girls on the field. There was so much support too. We had the squad of 17 or 18, and for the finals day, I wanted them all to be a part of it, and they were great. Abby, Astrid, Hannah, etc. Just everyone there supporting. And I should mention the oppositions as well. Like they were all quality teams, and I felt the standard was good last year, but it went up a peg this year. And it was nice to see that the other teams actually, like I mentioned before, supporting us. The coaches at both Wests and Valleys were really humble and supportive in the wins there. So, yeah, I just think it was a great promotion for women's cricket too. Like, and I've spoken to a few people and some QC board members, and they were just ecstatic with the product itself, and that's attributed to the players on board.
Yeah, definitely. Can I have a look at the medal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where is it?
Well, I haven't taken it off for 2 days, so.
Well, I'm sure Mrs. Curtis doesn't mind you just wearing that and that only, mate. That'll be a bit of fun. But let's not talk about that. And also, just quickly, there's an APB out on Belinda Warrilow. Is that true? She just gone missing and partying like it's 1999 again?
She probably is our number one supporter. I haven't heard from her for a couple of days, so send out the search party.
She'll turn up. Sammy Curtis, congratulations, mate. It's been a lot of hard work, and we talk about the 10 years, and obviously this competition the girls have been vying for, and it all came to fruition the other Sunday night. So, congratulations to you, mate. Like I said, the job's not done. You can't just put the clipboard down. You got a job to do, and the Kath Raymond Shield is certainly well within reach with this machine that you've created, mate. So, congratulations.
Thanks, JD. And as always, mate, thanks for your support. Like, we really appreciate it. The girls love it.
Beautiful stuff. Cheers, mate. Thank you.